Welcome to CallumConnects, 5-minute entrepreneurial inspiration for your day. Joining us today on CallumConnects is David Strausser. David is a subject matter expert in helping businesses achieve growth via the promise of technology. He's also the host of the podcast Shark Bite Biz.
It's a good story how I started my own business with the podcast. It really was a story of necessity. I work in ERP, that's Enterprise Resource Planning Solutions, specifically with SAP Business One. Basically, it's a business management software. My challenge is that we work in a very old school industry, and the world over the past 5 years has been changing. So how you reach your customers 10 years ago compared to how it was the last 5 is drastically different. For me, what I was successful with is I usually did a ton of networking. I put on executive luncheon events and they were pretty amazing. We called them the anti-luncheon. In fact, we even served dessert first. It was pretty rocking. Fast forward to 2020, and we had a ton of events lined up for this whole year. And then March happens. I was kind of backed up into a corner. Leads weren't coming in, and my sales reps didn't have many opportunities. I needed to do something to gain exposure to make up for the lack of networking opportunities we had. Truth is, I always wanted to do a podcast. In fact, over 5 years ago, I originally registered stuff for Shark Bite Biz, but I felt the market was too flooded with, many of the same type of podcasts. So that's when, again, out of necessity, while backed into a corner, it occurred to me that I should launch the podcast. Start the podcast with the focus of how businesses, mostly small to mid-sized companies, how they are pivoting during the global coronavirus pandemic, okay? And then let's get those success stories out there on the air and get people listening to what other entrepreneurs are doing. Get those success messages out there. And I really wanted to kind of hear those stories myself. I wanted to hear what other businesses are doing, how they're pivoting, and I figured, hey, if I'm going to go down that journey, might as well take all these people with me. It's been amazing and overwhelming, the response that we've had. It's been extremely positive. Where I work my main job, again, Vision 33, they've been overly supportive and helping me realize that, yes, they're promoting me as an individual. They're promoting my company, Shark Bite Biz. But in reality, it's all coming back full circle to them. And that's really what they love. They see the big picture. By pushing me up as that subject matter expert with all of my experience, all these stories, how we're helping businesses break through the barriers preventing growth during COVID-19, it really puts Vision 33 in a much better light. So that's my story. That's what I did to pivot during the coronavirus pandemic and how I launched my business out of necessity. Got questions? You can reach out to me at davidstrausser.com, sharkbitebiz.com, or vision33.com. Thanks again for having me, and I'd love to be back.
I help small businesses use the public markets to grow. In 2 years, we've gone from 0 to 100 million in revenue and $10 million in profit. If you would like to know how we did it and how you can get involved, sign up at callumlang.com.